Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulih. Welcome to the show. This is your host Yunus Kawanga on the show called to Guidance. And today is another beautiful Thursday night. And our show only deals with everything and anything that has to do with dawah. And if you want to know about Ubizo, the calling, which deals with the production and dissemination of content regarding the Zulu language and the Zulu culture and how the culture itself is connected to Islam. Join us later on at 8:30 when we actually have Sheikh Imran Bonambi, who would be taking us through that whole concept of how his dawah, focusing on the Zulu people, is working in that. Now, on the lineup tonight, we have Sheikh Ishmael Gqamane all the way from Cape Town. Now, Sheikh Ishmael actually hails from Guguletu Township in Cape Town and is a graduate of the University of Medina. He got his BA in Sharia, and also Moulana Sheikh is a Hafid who studied his Hifz at Darulum Zakaria Park. Sheikh has been serving on the executive of the MJC and is currently an imam at Masjid Murtada and a director of the Guguletu Islamic Center and also the Amir of the Western Cape Shura Council. Let's welcome Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, welcome to the show.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. جزاكم الله خيرا for having us in the program.
Barakallah Fika, we are actually the ones who are honored to have you on the show to share with us your vast amount of wisdom and experience in this beautiful field of dawah. Now, we all like to go straight into the concept, straight into the topic. We're speaking about dawah based around, or rather calling it community dawah, based around the Western Cape province, and more specifically where Sheikh is based through the Guguletu Islamic Center. Now, the first thing, Sheikh, we would like to try and look into is how do we structure our township communities to work on this unison or to work together in giving dawah so that we don't have different bodies and different organizations who will be clashing heads. But the most important thing here is to have that unity. So how do we structure the community to have that uniformity, inshallah?
جزاكم الله خيرا Sheikh. Sheikh, I think maybe as a beginning, when we speak da'wah, especially within the township communities where the majority, overwhelming majority, are non-Muslims, and we are actually a small part of the community. I think when we look at da'wah, I think first and foremost, it is about each and every community, each and every center, the masjid that is there, has to become practically involved in the community that surrounds them. Right. So before we talk about, going out giving pamphlets and talking about Islam, it's more really about, how are we living Islam within the community that we are living in. And something that has been very detrimental to da'wah, I think, within our communities is that we sort of within a community live in a silo. We are a community separate from the community, which is not the way da'wah is supposed to be, because we as Muslims are supposed to be the guides, are supposed to be the ones who are enlightened, are supposed to be the ones who know better, who have the truth at hand. And so with that, it is important that we are very, very active and interactive in our community when it comes to community-based issues. For me, this is really where the da'wah begins, and that our centers become a center for the community that surrounds you in terms of their needs, in terms of their challenges. And here I'm speaking beyond maybe a distribution of a parcel and so on and so forth, but issues relating to the upliftment of the individuals around the masjid, so that we are not seen as a people who are just concerned with their own, but that we are people who has the concern of the nation, the people, regardless of their religious background. I think, inshallah ta'ala, if we begin that as an agenda, as a very deliberate agenda, inshallah ta'ala, of doing da'wah, that let us not separate ourselves from our community. Yes, we are Muslims, the adhan goes off and we're making our salah, but that doesn't necessarily make us to be different in a sense that we don't experience what the people are experiencing around us. We're going through the same experiences. And the question is, how do we work together in dealing with those challenges so that Muslims, even in the minds of the people, become a part? You know, it's basically we become another faith, as there are many faiths within our communities, but we have a contribution, we have a role to play in the upliftment of the community. I think in that, inshallah ta'ala, is a great, great form of da'wah. Obviously, then as Muslim communities, from various areas, then it is also important, as you mentioned, that we sort of have some type of synergy, in how we do things, so that people are not sort of shocked as to, why are they doing like this and you guys are doing this way, and so that also, inshallah ta'ala, we understand that this is not a race. We are not racing against each other when we're giving da'wah as to who gives more da'wah, who gives less da'wah, who reaches out more. This is the work of the Anbiya. This is the work of the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so there is no competition amongst each other in this work. It's a matter of the opportunity avails itself, and so let's do it. I think the challenge that we face sometimes is we compete with each other, which is very, very unfortunate, because da'wah is not a space for us to compete in. It is not like a business. Me and you open businesses, and so we compete so that I can have more profit in my business. Da'wah is something that there has to be very, very sincere when it is done. Otherwise, we will not get the desired results. And the desired results is that people see the beauty of Islam. But because we are competing, we actually forget that goal and that aim. And then when we compete with each other, it does not seem attractive to people then. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us in a very, very beautiful hadith that we all know, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. That actions will be judged on the basis of their intentions, and that each person will only get that which he intended. And so sometimes our giving da'wah, we don't necessarily intend da'wah itself. We intend to promote my organization as the one giving da'wah.
Mm-hmm.
We intend to promote, you say, we are doing the most, we're looking at it. This is not a numbers game. Dawah is not a numbers game. Dawah is a matter of passing on the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to others. Let them understand their purpose in this life. Let them understand who their true God is. Let them understand how God wants them to live their lives. This is the goal. And the guidance of those individuals rests solely and only in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But because we rest the saving and the acceptance of those people in our hands, because we're looking at numbers. We want to be able to say to our donors, mashallah, today 50 people took Shahada. One city. And then we know for a fact many of those disappear, into thin air after that. So I think that we need to change this competition in dawah for the sake of the dawah itself. Because we'll find that we will be in a state of millions are spent in da'wah, but we're getting the adverse results. People are not becoming attracted to Islam. They're becoming, more distant from Islam. Because truly, people sense our hearts. People sense our emotions. We can't be playing with da'wah if it is something that is a business, and therefore, I need to have numbers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not ask us for the numbers. Allah will ask us for the sincerity that we had when we did our da'wah. And therefore the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the beautiful hadith, says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides through you one person is better than you, for you, than the whole dunya and whatever it contains. But this is very, very important. One person, not 100 people, or one person. Because guiding one person, subhanallah, is such a great achievement. Why do we want to have these numbers? Why do we feel that if I have only one person in the city who has accepted Islam and Shahada today, I feel that I didn't do my work? No, this is not how this works. You are to deliver the message. The results of the message are not even for today. The Sometimes,
No.
in many of our gatherings and invitations, we expect people to take Shahada now,
Mm.
and it is detrimental to the da'wah because it gives us a false sense of numbers, and then in reality we don't have those numbers.
Mm.
But more than that, people feel as if they need to do this when they are not really ready for that, and so they just do it for the sake of doing. What happens after that? After that, the taste is lost. We haven't given people the time to really register, to really digest the information they've received, which is contrary to what they've believed in for such a long time. So really, I think that we need to revisit, the purpose of da'wah. We
Mm.
need to revisit issues of sincerity in da'wah, and ensure that we facilitate the information to the
Mm.
people, but we do
Indeed.
not engage in actually wanting to see people take Shahada. It is, of course, it is something great. It is something good. But it shouldn't be something that we pressurize the congregants to say, we've spoken all of this stuff. Does it make sense to you? Isn't Allah one?
Mm.
Come on. It is not like that. If we read our seerah, if we read the history of the growth of Islam, it was really something that when someone took Shahada, they really came and they took it 100%. Because they were given the information and the rest of it was upon them. How many people we're seeing today, how many an individual takes Shahada after having been the greatest enemy of Islam, after despising Islam, and having done everything to destroy Islam, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala somehow through the person's research and they want to find out what is it that I hate so much. And then in there they find the beauty of Islam. So this is what we need to really nurture and look out for. The competition that we are having amongst us, wallahi al-azim, it is to the detriment of da'wah. It is to the detriment of Islam in this country.
True.
Like each and everyone shall do what they can do. But I think it is
Mm.
time that we take a pause and we
Mm.
just move back and say, are we doing this to receive more donations?
Mm.
Or are we doing this sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if we do not have money?
Mm.
Because this is what da'wah is about. I've
True.
heard, subhanAllah, some beautiful stories of da'wah, how individuals, were transformed from beggars and paupers to people who had established their own businesses.
Mm.
From a pauper, a beggar in the street, to someone who runs their own. There's a dignity Islam gives. But we can't do this. We can't give the dignity when a person to us is a number.
True.
There's no relationship that we have with the person. We took Shahada there, we don't even remember the person. The person may have taken Shahada in our sort of program we had, mashallah, and the person said, oh, Assalamu alaikum. Oh, who are you? I took Shahada. Oh, subhanallah. Oh, nice seeing you. We don't even
So,
So the person, subhanallah, they are special. But when they meet you, there's no recollection of
mm.
the face. SubhanAllah. Because unfortunately, because we are organizational based in dawah, it is very sad. Because we need to be dawah based, we need to be Allah based.
Mm.
The only reason we are going to do is what Allah always says when we call people to Islam. That's our organization. Let's do that. Let's call people to
Subhan.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's call the people to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And therefore make those individuals independent of our organization and even ourselves.
Mm.
When we give down to people, we have to make sure that they don't attach to us. Because da'wah is a numbers game to many organizations. Unfortunately, this is my group of people.
Mm.
And those group of people, please don't go to those group of people. Because that's a different organization. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is musibah. You brought people to Islam or you brought them to your organization?
Subhan.
Did you bring them to Islam and if you brought them to Islam, Islam has no organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Islam is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And every Muslim and sister is a brother and sister. But the moment we begin to create these silos, my organization, my people, people feel that they are numbers and they feel useless. They feel unappreciated. They
True.
don't feel the change that is coming to their lives after being Muslims because they are still considered a number. They are not considered as people who need to stand on their own two feet, who must not come to me and beg me for whatever it is. They must beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Mm.
You know? And so, inshallah ta'ala, these are some of the discussions and strategies that I think we need to bring to the table. I feel that
100%.
we are losing our people to these organizational competition in the field of da'wah. You know,
Mm.
and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one who knows the sincerity of each and every one. However, the picture that we see is one that is not fruitful in the field of da'wah. If it
No.
means that an organization is going to have its own people, and those people that I give shahada to cannot go to someone else and so forth.
Mm.
That is, we are thinking these Muslims, these new Muslims supposedly become our slaves. You know, they are our tickets to more funding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of those who are sincere
100%.
in His deen, in spreading His word. The donors that Allah chooses will come to you know, without you asking them. And if you ask them, they'll be ready to give you without asking you for the numbers and the pictures. This thing is detrimental in that it's very, very sad. You have to take them with, but what image are we giving to the individual who's accepting Islam that we need to take a photo with you to show that, why are you taking a photo with me? Am I not now one of you who's not deserving to be shown off like some animals in a zoo? You know, it might sound a bit harsh, but let us think of the person who now gets loses his humanity or his or her humanity in the process of us wanting to get donor funding.
Mm.
And so from our perspective, inshallah ta'ala, we try to rather let us facilitate dawah material in the local languages, let us facilitate discussions with people, and let us move away from creating or making organizations as if they are the religion. You know, the organizations are representatives of the religion, and it is the religion that should win, not the organization. Unfortunately, in donor competition, it's really, may Allah, you know, safeguard us. Easy for us, may Allah, you know, protect us from our own covetousness, you know, from our own greed, from our own love of you know, the picture, you know, from our own love of praise, that mashallah, you know, so and so and so and so, it's so much work. Allah subhanahu will praise us in the day of Qiyamah. That's enough praise for us. It is enough for us for Allah subhanahu to accept our efforts in da'wah, you know. And so, Jazakumullah khairan, Sheikh, for inviting me. And I thought that these are some of the issues that one would like to highlight, you know, in the field of da'wah, in that let us maybe we need to move more towards individualizing da'wah now. Let us leave organizations. Let each and every Muslim feel the need to go out and speak to someone.
No.
Let each and every Muslim in their company speak to their employees, you know, so that we save the organizations from having to chase for our few rand, and in the process become, may Allah protect and save us, arrogant and you know, competitive and jealous for each other. You know, how could da'wah, how could such a beautiful activity, such a beautiful, you know, action, the greatest of actions indeed is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this for His messengers. How could such an action lead to us really, you know, being, you know, jealous of each other?
No.
And want more than, where's tawakkul, you know, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we are engaged in da'wah, so that it you know, it transfers to those who are entering into Islam. You know, let those who are taking shahada, new Muslims, become our brothers and sisters. What is the use if we have all these beautiful organizations large and we are not able to welcome people into our homes as our brothers and our sisters? Sit with them and discuss with them, find out where you come from. What are your needs? You know, how can I help as your brother? you know, as opposed to me saying, my organization will take care of you. Where's the brotherhood in that? It's very much, I think, we're becoming very cold, in our um, struggle to receive more donations. We're becoming cold in the process. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, um, open our hearts,
Um,
to these realities. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure everyone wants Islam to grow in this country. The
100%.
question is, how do we go about doing that?
Mm.
The question is, at what expense are we going to do that? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us sincerity, and forgive us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us unite as an ummah. If
Ameen.
anything, because our division is of no good to us.
100%. No, Ustad, that's the crux of it all at the moment, and these are the challenges, unfortunately, that we are facing in the work of da'wah. The sense of monopolization of the da'wah sphere and trying to attract more numbers. It's all about now quantity and not quality anymore. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy. Inshallah, Ustad, next time when we do get more time, we will speak more about the Guguletu Islamic Center and the work that it's
Inshallah.
actually doing, inshallah, because we really need more organizations that are community based, and like Ustad mentioned in the beginning, that we need to create
Absolutely.
make it a community center and a safe haven for everyone in the community, not only the Muslims but everyone alike,
Indeed.
inshallah. Jazakumullah khaira. Unfortunately, the time has actually expired upon us, and we really appreciate the fact that Ustad took the time to speak to us and open our eyes in these points, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take you from strength to strength and make
I
us
mean,
also the beneficiaries of the work from Ustad, inshallah, and for our progeny as well, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, ahsan al jaza. Assalamu
Jazakallah khair,
alaikum
Moulana.
wa
Allah
rahmatullahi.
Mahdi.
Ameen.
Salam alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, that brings us to the end of the first segment of our show with Ustad Ishmael Gqamane, all the way from Cape Town, speaking about the ills and the challenges of dawah in our community dawah, whereby he mentions a lot about how it has been monopolized and it has been organizationalized in terms of everything is about organizations and trying to actually play or call to the individualization of dawah rather at the moment, inshallah. Now we'll take our short break, and when we come back, we have Ustad Imran Mbonambi, and we'll be discussing about Ubizo, the calling in terms of the dissemination and production of Zulu content in the Dawa sphere, and also teaching people about Islam using the medium of the Zulu language, inshallah ta'ala. Please do stay tuned.